Welcome back to Energetically You. I'm your host, Megan Swan. I am the creator of the Sustainably Integrated Wellness Approach. I love all things abundant mindset, optimal wellness, and healthy habits. Today, I have the honor of inviting and chatting with a powerhouse in the industry. She has multiple companies and 10 years of experience helping powerhouse women in all things marketing and social media. She is Aleya Harris. I'm going to make sure that I'm pronouncing that right with her. You know, I'm not really that intelligent when it comes to names. It's one of my weaknesses. She looks at problems from a holistic perspective and combines her NES Health Practitioner and StoryBrand guide certifications to work simultaneously on improving the wellness of her clients' mindset, energy fields, and business strategy. So I'm super excited to get to know her and to get to know exactly what all of that means. So if you're ready, join me and let's dive in. Welcome back to Energetically You. I'm here today with Aleya Harris. Welcome, Aleya. How are you this evening?
I'm good, Megan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very happy that I got a little dressed up and I showered and everything. So I feel very fresh and excited about our conversation.
Well, you look fabulous. The earrings are wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm really enjoying the look. And actually, you're wearing one of my brand colors. So I feel like this was just a meant to be kind of conversation.
Oh, yeah. I love this color too. So please tell us, I was reading over your website and your bio. You have so many interesting interconnections and I know 10 years of experience. So I'm sure you have some highlight points that you could sort of connect the dots as to how you got to where you are and to be so passionate about health and business.
Yes, absolutely. So this whole kind of thing's, well, not started, but really started to come to the forefront when within my marketing company, we do marketing strategy and copywriting. And I was having people come to me saying, yeah, I'm burnt out. I'm hitting a financial plateau in my business. I don't know how to scale. I'm feeling exhausted, but you know what I need? An email sequence. That will just solve my problems. Like all that other stuff doesn't matter. I don't even know why we're talking about it. I don't know why bother. All I need, you can get my email funnel going and we'll be able to
make life will be great. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I mean, I love me a good email funnel. There's a lot of things that it definitely can help you do. However, there's a whole lot more to it than just, I'm going to put something out in the world in an email funnel and magic will happen. Business happens from the inside out. So when I was realizing that this was kind of a trend, especially among businesses that were in the 6 and 7 figures as clients, and people were getting burnt out, they were in that awkward moment of like, I'm scaling and I have maybe a little bit of a team, but what do I do? And now I no longer have the energy to give the vision because I'm doing all the things and I'm lost and I'm stuck. And I said, okay, on the side, I work with people as a spiritual coach. And I'm like, even during most of my strategy sessions, I kind of pull in that thought anyways, whether they know it or not. But I said, I need to
hard not to, right?
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to help you. Don't worry about how this is happening. Because I get feedback on my strategy sessions like, oh, you know me so well, or oh, you really got to the pinpoint of the issue, or oh, I've never been able to get such clarity before, right? And I'm like, little do you know, it's me and Spirit working in there with you. Spirit's got their business suit on, and we're in here working energetically with you for your messaging right now. And as opposed to kind of keeping business and your energy and your life and your vitality separate, bioenergetics brings all of it together and recognizes you as a whole person, which is, for me, kind of the goal of entrepreneurship in the first place, right? Like if I wanted
Certainly sustainable entrepreneurship.
What did you say?
Certainly sustainable entrepreneurship.
Exactly, right? If I wanted to like fit myself into like a very uncomfortable box, I would go back to working in like a cubicle. That's the most uncomfortable box I can think of. And I would show up and put on whatever face they wanted me to put on that day. But, you know, there's a lot of hardship that comes with entrepreneurship. Get the perks, right? One of the perks, if you have to deal with all the crap, one of the perks is that you get to cultivate the life that you want to lead and want to have. And in order to do that, though, you have to show up as your full self all the time. Like, you know, I don't even know if they still have these, but they used to have a take your daughter to work day or take your son to work day. And it's like, take your whole self to work day should be every day. If you can figure out how your personal blockages are getting in the way of your professional blockages, that's when you'll start to get real change. That's when you'll look at, well, I'm really not communicating my truth. So when I communicate my one-liner or my messaging or my brand strategy, it doesn't resonate with people. It's like, yeah, because that's not really the message you should be putting out there. Or where are you making decisions from? Are you having a lack of trust in your life and in your business? And that comes across as you making decisions based off of what you didn't like and what made you feel uncomfortable because you're not really trusting yourself to make decisions on a larger vision. So it's all kinds of things like that people think of as like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go do some mindset work. And it's so much deeper than just your mindset work. It's your everything work, all the energy, not just your mind.
Very true. Oh my goodness. I love all that and how you sort of always bring in the woo, even though people aren't necessarily aware of it, right?
I can't help it. I'm fully out of the woo closet. I don't even know where the door is at this point in time. And it's just time to just let my woo flag fly. And when you do that, or when I do that, it's still within respect for the other person, right? So I could sit here and talk about energy, and we talk about spirit and God, and we talk about plant medicine and chakras, and the other person in front of me might be like, look, I am not ready for all of that, but I do know that I need some help getting a little bit closer to like using my own intuition. So you use woo, not from a place of ego, but from a place where it's like, I have the connection, and my job with that connection is to do what is of the highest good. And the highest good for you right now is for me to put this in terms that are going to be uplifting and supportive for you, not just let me spout my woo jargon. It's the same thing. Like you talk in corporate, there's corporate jargon, there's woo jargon too. And you can use it, but that's more about you than it is the other person, right? Like,
for sure.
I guess we've touched on a pet peeve of mine. Really.
Well, I think, the best coaches in any industry really lead by helping people get there in a way that they are empowered, that they came to that point on their own and that they feel like that it really comes from within. It wasn't something that was dictated from somebody else.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, and it doesn't need to be. You have the inner wisdom there. People always talk about intuitive people and like bioenergetic coaches, things like that, where it's like we're some kind of like superheroes. And it's like, well, yes, but everyone has the ability to lead themselves and their lives from a intuitive place, fully connected and in alignment. The problem is that we often have blockages that somebody else needs to help walk us through, and not everybody is open to leading in that experience. And at the same time, that's not everybody's purpose, right? Not everybody is supposed to be here to help other people make money doing what they love. That's one of my purposes here. Is I love me some money. Me and money are like, we homies, we kick it on the weekend, right? And I want to make sure that people can understand that you can make the money to curate your lifestyle, but it's not just to make the money to stockpile it or to keep chasing it. Or the point is that you make the money, you do what you love the process, and you love the journey of it. It doesn't have to be so stressful. And you keep your eye on those deeper things that you're really using the money and the success to get to, the freedom to do. So you can't sit here and heal your inner child when you're stressed out if your water is going to stay on or not, right? That's not going to work. No. You have to get to a certain point where you're like, whew, okay, let me exhale. Let me take that burden off of me and move forward, and then readjust and realign as I do. And I love working with people like that.
Yeah. I have learned over the last year plus in particular that hailing my relationship with money, in that money wants to flow. The moment that you have any sort of energy around scarcity, basically, things do not go in your favor. You really need to be willing to invest in yourself, or look at something from a collaborative standpoint instead of a competitive standpoint. So I don't know if you want to comment on that before I ask you another question.
I actually did. So I'm glad that you said something, because one of the things that I think people judge themselves for a lot is, they see themselves in that scarcity mentality. Like, okay, I just need to I'm rich. What's my mantra? What's my finance mantra? What is it? Right? How do I get back into that abundance flow? And sometimes it really is just that easy. You're like, oh, girl, no, I don't want to think that. And you should keep your mind on abundance, so that there's more than enough to go around. But if you're not really hitting on the root cause of the issue, you're really putting guilt and blame and shame on yourself in an area that, like you said, requires freedom. So it could be that you just need to watch your words, and maybe that's it. Or it could be, maybe you need to think about your parents and the messages that they gave. And how do you really feel about being able to earn money? Or do you feel like you have to earn every dollar? Do you feel like no one will give anything to you? Do you feel unworthy? Do you feel like you aren't connected enough, or you don't know enough, so you don't need that money? Or do you feel like money hates you, and you're not sticky enough for money? It's deeper than just repeating a mantra or an affirmation or saying, I need something to stick. What you need to do is you need to clear out the crap and then put back in the good stuff. So there's a lot of mindset coaches who talk about the words that you tell yourself and the messages. Super important. Words, messages, super important. I'm a copywriter. Important. But what they don't talk about is, let me say it this way. Let's imagine a bucket, right? Not a big bucket. You can imagine a bucket if you can be a gold fancy bucket. It could be a wooden bucket. Bucket doesn't matter. But let's say that the bucket has water in it. It's nasty water. It's like LA tap water. I live in LA, so it's nasty. You don't want to drink. Insert your nasty water here, whatever that means for you, right? And let's say you're like, okay, but I'm just going to fill up my bucket with good stuff. So I'm going to go and get, what kind of water do I like? I don't know, Aquafina or Dasani or Smart Water. I'm just going to pour that in the bucket. What do you have? Just a lot more nasty water now is what you have, because the nastiness and the junk in that bucket makes everything else in the bucket nasty too. Instead of just filling up your mindset with new great ideas, you need to excavate and you need to empty that bucket. When you excavate, you end up with an empty bucket. Now, once it rains, like toxic rain, let's say, for example, right? Once it rains, your bucket will be filled back up with nastiness unless you decide to intentionally fill it up with great stuff and then, like, you know,
cover it
from the rain, right? Like that's a whole nother conversation. So if you're not doing the work to clear, if you're not doing things like active journaling or like free form writing, and you're not doing things that you're looking at yourself and your relationship with yourself and your inner child, and you're not clearing and doing forgiveness work, then it doesn't really matter how many mantras you do, how many affirmations you do, your situation with money, situation with your business's money, your situation with being able to charge what you're worth or create services that make sense for the lifestyle and dreams and goals that you have. All of that won't happen because you're just dealing with nasty water in a bucket, and it's not going to taste good until the nastiness is gone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I often think of it as you can say certain affirmations until you're blue in the face, but if you don't actually feel that, if you can't bring up those real emotions, which have a chemical reaction in the body and really change your energy and your state, then it's not doing anything. I mean, it literally just stays in the mind. It needs to be embodied in that sense, or you're not healing. I love your bucket analogy. Kind of because my kids have this book called How Full Is Your Bucket? I think that's what it's called. Just to teach kids about how, you know, every time you say bad things to someone, a little drop empties, and then when you say good things, a drop goes in. Anyway, it's a cute book.
It does sound like a cute book. Sounds like something adults should read.
Yes. So you gave us like a long list of blocks, I think money blocks that women tend to have. Can you tell us or give us some other really common things that you feel in general are holding women back?
That's going to be a long podcast episode. In general, I don't even really know if there is an in general. A lot of it goes back with women to worthiness, but everything tends to be specific after that. So women usually have gotten into their lives and in their psyche that they are not worthy of the dreams that they are going to attain. Now, the sources of that could be very different. It could be your daddy issues, could be a real relationship. It could even be a traumatic experience that happened to you that totally derailed where you thought that you would and should be. Overall, I like to call them abundance keys, but they relate to each chakra. Each chakra is a key to abundance. And abundance, keep in mind, is not only financial abundance. It's not like you have a money chakra. If you did, we would all know about it. People would be talking about it all the dang time, right? There'd be movies about the dang money chakra, right? all of them are abundance chakras as far as I'm concerned. But it's about where you are the most off and getting that one into alignment. And it's kind of like adjusting each one of the 7 as you go to make sure that you can get that flow through you. When I think of spirit or the universe or energy, I think of like this channel going from, the top of my forehead to the bottom of my feet, right? And if anywhere in that channel is blocked, then the energy can't flow and I'm missing out. So my work that we do with bioenergetic work is to work through whether you've been psychically attacked and you've been thrown off your game and your meridians are off, or your polarity is off, or maybe it's the information that you've been getting through your eyes and your ears that are off, your nutrition, your where you are on your personal hero's journey. If any of that is off, you're going to be blocked. So we work to unblock that. So you can just imagine just like that white light, like flowing directly through you from the top of your head all the way through every part of your body. Because regardless of how you're blocked, it boils down to two very simple things, at least in the world of bioenergetics: energy and information. So everything in the whole wide world is energy, right? I'm sitting here, I'm wearing a green dress that has its own energy going on, and I'm, have my laptop in front of me, has its own energy. Or the particles of energy, right? Especially like on the quantum physics level, you think of like energy as particles and waves. Well, what's keeping my energy from just like flowing on into my computer and we're like one big computer woman blob? Like, I guess that'd be like a cyborg. So what's preventing that from happening, right? It's the information that is directing the energy to be and do what it should be doing. So there's information that's telling the energy of my computer, you are computer, Aleya, you are Aleya. The problems arise when you're getting energy from the outside, information from the outside, and it's distorted, it's wrong, or it somehow throws your information off. So you start getting sick, you start getting tired, you start having lack of willpower, you start having bad self-talk, right? Over and over and over again. But the self-talk is actually not the root cause of the issue. The energy and information distortion that energy has been bothered by is the root cause. So instead of like muscling through to just fix your self-talk issue, go down to the bioenergetic level and fix the information, and then do the healing work to fix your self-talk. And it feels less overwhelming, less all-encompassing of every energy form in your body, right? Because that's what sometimes it feels like to get through some blockages. But we use corrective energy to make sure that you can kind of smooth that process to healing and then more, because it doesn't just stop at healing. It's like, let's keep going. Like, we found a good thing. Let's go from good to great here, right? I'm also an Enneagram 3, so I'm always trying to go take something from good to great.
So what, I'm sure you serve people virtually mostly, or your clientele. So can you kind of explain to us what that looks like in terms of like what modalities are you using when you work with people to help them align chakras, for example, or to feel, I don't know, like work on clearing blockages in all of their forms?
So you ready to hear something that sounds totally sci-fi and like I'm making it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm curious.
Explain this to people and they're like, what? So I'm a certified Nest Health practitioner, and Nest Health was created over 15 years ago and is based off of 30 years of research. It uses we use actually a software program to scan your voice and to read the bioenergetic field around and in your body through a voice scan that takes about 10 seconds.
Wow.
So I told you, you're just like, that's so cool. I think either it's really cool or you're full of shit. I promise it's the first one. So when we're doing a bioenergetic scan, the scan itself, like I said, takes 10 seconds. But reading the scan, we do over 4 weeks. So you start off with, because there's just so much information there, from what is going on or potentially in the energy field surrounding different organs, the energy field surrounding your own place on your hero's journey. Are you refusing the call to action? Are you lingering with a mentor that you should no longer be lingering with? Is your root chakra off? That seems so basic compared to some of the other things that we go through and we talk through. There's also energy integrators that we discuss, like in your body. It's very similar to the traditional Chinese medicine meridians, right? So in your body, you're like, oh, I am having an issue, pulling everything together, and I'm feeling, disjointed and hurt. It's like, well, maybe your heart imprinter is off, or let's talk about like what's going on with like your liver integrator. And you work through and you talk back and forth around what is going on and how is this showing up in your life. And you dive in deeply into those individual conversations over four weeks. Also during those four weeks, there are things called infoceuticals. Infoceuticals are information charged water. It's like information charged salty water, really is what it is. And from the outside, all the ingredients for all the infoceuticals are the same. But Ness uses a proprietary process to take corrective information, you use that information to correct any of the imbalances. There's also a device that's basically like energy acupuncture, so it's painless, because I don't like needles, so I was really glad about this. Painless acupuncture to clear blocks as well. Also during the sessions, because when I work with clients, I am, I don't even know what label to put on it. I like to work with people with through their Akashic records or through their angel guide or through whatever spirits around them. We sometimes will whip out a pendulum and get some answers. So it's taking a scientific-based approach that works with quantum physics, also combining universe, intuitiveness, spirit, and then also just straight up my over a decade plus of marketing experience. So like I was talking to a client today and we were working through like, okay, so you want better relationships in your life, but you don't want to have long-term client relationships. You just want to work on project work. That's not, you're having a disconnect there, and your revenue stream will not end up being exactly what you want because you won't have recurring revenue. Let's fix the relationship issue. Let's fix the disconnect. Let's use the infoceuticals to get there. Let's talk through this using your intuition and your pendulum, which we've been using. And then we'll also fix how you're structuring your service packaging to match all of those things, because it all fits together. Her service packaging is off. It's not what she truly wants because she hasn't been able to articulate that in her personal or professional life. So through the scan, through a 3 or 6 month journey together, we figure out things like messaging. We figure out things like business structure, hiring and firing, having difficult relationships, feeling not so damn tired all the time, delegating, all of the things that marketing, sales, all of the things that you would do with potentially a traditional business coach, but they actually stick because all of those things that you've been trying to bust through, we actually resolve them so that you can move forward with a lot more freedom. Did that answer your question in a very long-winded way?
Well, no, that's amazing. And I have so many follow-up questions. So where to start? Well, I think first off, just to clarify, so the point that there's like a device and like a saline solution type water, is that's something you're sending to them, or how's that happening?
Yeah, they just go on and the recommendations are based on the scan. So your body knows, and your body energy field knows what is the most important thing that needs to be corrected in that moment. And during the scan, it's like a range of like different color-coded system where it's like, oh, no, I'm good for right now. I'm good to please help me. And on the please help me side, then those are the different infoceuticals that you recommend. And sometimes I might tweak based off of like, oh no, but this is here showing up here, here, and here. But we've also been talking about this, and I know that this would help ease their transition or ease their change or growth in this area. And then they just go in and they buy them. They're $30 a piece. It's like, we're not talking about thousands of dollars invested here on the infoceuticals. And I was super skeptical about the infoceuticals. I was like, what did I just get myself into? Because I was a client first. My own spiritual coach, because I'm a big believer that if you are coaching someone, you should also be being coached. And my spiritual coach was like, let's try this thing. And I'm like, whatever. She'd been doing it for like 10 years already. So it wasn't trying it for her. It was trying it for me. Okay. She knows that sometimes I'm a little stubborn.
And skeptical.
I was a little resistant. And then she did my scan, and the very first thing that I said, and the very first thing everybody says when we do, I would do like a free scan, because I get it. I was like, what the heck? It was, oh my God, how did it know? It was so accurate. And that's usually how it starts. And oh my God, I didn't tell you that. She goes, I know, I didn't do anything to this scan. It just happened. And then I was like, well, but I'm not taking those drops. That's a waste of money. She goes, okay, or just order them. Just order them. And I ordered them, and then for a couple of days, I was like, I don't really feel anything. But I'm a woman of my word, if nothing else. And I said, okay, I'm going to take these for the full month that each series is. And one day, we were out, me and my husband, and he said, you're happy? And I was like, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I had so much energy, but not like amped up like caffeine energy. It was just like, I feel amazing, and you are beautiful, and so are you, and I love everything about you. What's your name? It was just this sense of just feeling that unconditional love connection. And then I've just been kind of riding on it. I have ups and downs like every other human person. It did not make me ascend or anything like that, but it really did help. And so I was like, well, I'm going to keep pushing forward with this. And so I take my drops every day. It's the easiest thing that you can do. And oftentimes I think people think big change needs to be hard. Big change needs to be difficult. You have to take a handful of pills, or you have to go and live in Bali, or maybe not Bali, or go off to the Amazon and live for 3 months in order to break through to something. And that's a human perspective. That's not how spirit works. Spirit and the universe can change your life in a second. It's all the other crap you put around it that's preventing it from doing that, saying that it has to be difficult, saying that you know everything and how everything works. So this thing that sounds so odd can't possibly work because you know better. And then that's how you get in trouble, right? That's how you end up not being helpable even to yourself, or being coachable even for yourself, because you know everything already. One of the things that I have noticed on my spiritual journey is that the only thing that I know is that I know absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. The more I talk to spirit and the more I work with people, I'm just like, just guide me, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And that's how I feel as wise as possible. I never want to get tied to one particular way of doing, or one particular way of being, or one doctrine, or one philosophy, because, it's like you get tied to it and you're like, no, Confucianism was the way to go. And then you die and they're like, no. I actually know who had it right. The clowns had it right. You have no idea, right? You can only posture and profess your opinion. And until then, I know that the most loving thing I can do for myself is to keep moving forward and to keep following the feedback from the universe. The universe tells you when you're going the right direction and when you're not. So when I took my salty water drops, I was feeling amazing. I kept taking my salty water drops. And when I give my salty water drops to my clients and they feel amazing, I keep giving them the salty water drops. And we work from there.
Amazing. I think the universe works in alignment. I feel everything you just said I'm totally aligned with. I even posted something today about the best teachers take that perspective of there's always something I can learn. I don't know everything. I don't even necessarily know the best way. It's just, there's always more that you can. I like the word expansion. That's my word for the month. And I'm so curious about these salty drops, so I might be calling you.
You should totally call me and get your own salty drops. I bet if Ness heard this, they'd be like, what is she talking about? We spent 30 years perfecting those damn salty drops. Put some respect on the salty drops. But I mean, I can't be so important about things, right? So one of, I believe, the greatest people of our generation, his name was John Roger. A lot of people don't know who the heck he was. but he founded the Movement for Spiritual Inner Awareness. And he would always say that you don't get attached to the tool for your growth and your healing and your upliftment. You're like, oh no, I must, meditate in this way. This is my tone or my mantra, and I have to use this thing, and that's it. And if I don't do that, I'm going to fall. It's like, no. Use a tool until it's no longer serving you. I love bioenergetics and the tools that I use. They have served people for a long time. But the goal is not the tool. The goal is to keep growing and to keep being a more full expression of yourself, to live a high, full life, full of light and love. That's the goal. And everything that you use to get there is just part of the journey. So whether I'm working with you with your salty drops, or whether we're working together and I'm talking to your grandmother we're doing healing through a pendulum, it doesn't really matter how we get there. My goal is for you to be successful, and to be successful myself. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to be successful right on with you.
Of course. Yeah, that reminds me, I listened the other day to Dr. Joe Dispenza on Jay Shetty, and Jay was saying he's been meditating for 20 years now. And he just wished that it didn't take him 8 years to figure out that he shouldn't be trying to repeat yesterday's meditation, right? That it's constantly evolving and changing with you. So I really liked that, and I totally agree. I feel like, the tools work until they don't. And the more you get attached to that being, some sort of savior for you, or like really that being so necessary that without it, it can't happen, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I think salty drops, or I'm sure there's many other things and aspects to what you do that are very important. I love, and I think it's essential that you take whatever belief system people are coming from and incorporate it into the healing, because that too is ultimately, however you want to look at placebo, whatever people already believe in is one of the most powerful things. You have tools for their own healing. So
absolutely. I think that people do not give themselves enough credit. So when you're doing the infoceutical drops, for example, there is actual bioenergetic information in those drops. But just like anything, you can totally negate your own healing. Even if you went the traditional healing route and you had cancer, for example, and you went to chemotherapy, you did all of the traditional things, but every single day you told yourself, I'm going to die, I'm sick, I'm dying. Your likelihood of getting better has just dramatically decreased, my friend, right? It doesn't matter how, even the traditional medicine that you can see and touch and feel, and you feel like, oh no, I have faith in this. You can totally negate your own growth by the way that you are living your life. And the same is definitely true of energetics. Intention matters, right? And I'm sure that most people that are listening to this, we're not sitting here trying to convince you that chakras are real, but what I'm trying to do is convince you that there's other ways of addressing things that you might not be aware of, and to let go of what you may think that you know, right? There's only so many absolute truths in life. And I wouldn't say that I have reached a whole bunch of them yet. So like absolute truths, like I know that love is unconditional. There goes one. After that, well,
keep you posted.
Yeah. If you find another one, you let me know.
Well, I think that's kind of a perfect place to let it off. Is there anything else you want to add? Tell us, where's the best place to find you these days?
Absolutely. You can go to flourishmarketing.co, not .com, .co. And if you go to flourishmarketing.co/coaching, then you can read all about bioenergetic business coaching, bioenergetics. You can even set up a free scan so you can see your own scan yourself, see what infoceuticals or salty drops you would be recommended. And then at the same time, you can just have a chat with me and see what is it? What are your goals? Where can we go? And how can I help you? That's why I am here.
Amazing. I hope you ship internationally.
Yes, we do.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll leave all of those links in the show notes. Thank you, Aleya, so much for sharing your time with us. It's this evening for me. It's middle of the afternoon for you in Los Angeles. And yeah, we'll be in touch. It was so wonderful to share this time with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Aleya is a powerhouse, and I'm so curious to get that test done and try out some salty drops. So find all the info in the show notes. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a screenshot and tag us both on socials. Have a beautiful week.